My old pal Steven Portnoy joins me. I haven't talked to Steven in a long time. You don't call, you don't write, you're out working. You give us 3 minutes at the end of the half hour. What happened to us? Do we need counseling?
I was on the dial for a bit, but it's good to be with you again.
Nice to talk to you. We got a bunch to hit in short time here. Pence qualified for the first debate. You got to get 40,000 individual donors. He's in?
He's in. He says he's counting the days, looking forward to being there. A spokesman for Pence says, quote, hopefully former President Trump has the courage to show up. The debate is 2 weeks away in Milwaukee, and in New Hampshire yesterday, the former president at a rally put the question to the room. Should he attend the next debate? The cheers went up. So by the sound of it, the folks think that the former president should attend. But by the looks of the polls, Trump is in such a comfortable position now. The 538 average has him nearly 40 points ahead of his nearest rival, Ron DeSantis, who, by the way, yesterday engaged in his third staff shakeup in the span of a month. He's hired a new campaign manager, a man who is 35 years old, never run a campaign, but worked for DeSantis in the Florida governor's office. His name is James Uthmeyer. And he now is the latest effort by DeSantis to really make inroads on the former president, as the DeSantis campaign hires a debate coach and works with Ron DeSantis to get him ready for the debate in 2 weeks.
The campaign manager movie made us fine. It'll work or it won't work. He needs to hire Penn and Teller at this point because he needs a magician to inject him with personality and with some sense of common sense and smarts, because he's another far right type, and the far left does the same thing, just talking to themselves. You already have those people. What are you saying to the rest of America? And then you fold in the boring part, and it's no good. What about Georgia? What's going on there?
So this is really going to be interesting over the course of the next week or so. ABC News is reporting that the district attorney in Atlanta, Fannie Willis, is expected to begin presenting her case to a grand jury next week. And that means that the former president could be on the cusp of facing a fourth criminal indictment. He has said that all he needs is one more to
set a record.
Well, right. Well, to not just set a record, but to he believes it'll solidify his strength with Republicans. And you could point to the track in the polls. As he has been the target of prosecutors at the federal and state level, it's true. Donald Trump's support has only strengthened in the Republican Party. We'll see whatever comes of what's going on in Atlanta when it comes to the case here in Washington, D.C., having to do with January 6th. The judge, Tanya Chutkin, has set a Friday morning hearing 2 days from now to discuss this protective order that the prosecutor, Jack Smith, wants to prevent the former president from airing any of the evidence that prosecutors have collected by the grand jury secret testimony that they're prepared to present to the defense in the normal discovery pretrial process. And the prosecutors want some sort of restraint on the former president. The defense attorneys say that is a restraint on the First Amendment rights of the leading candidate for the Republican nomination for president of the United States, and it's not tenable. The judge is not ready to decide this. She has looked at the filings, the written filings of both sides. She wants to hear oral arguments, and she set that hearing for Friday morning to give both sides a chance to not just explain their views, but also answer her questions. And we might get a sense, hearing that hearing, whether she's leaning one way or the other.
And another slow week for you. All right, we got like a minute here, Stephen Portnoy, ABC News. Take me behind the scenes for a second. What's it like in that presidential White House press room with the daily briefings? Is it acrimonious? Is it more tense than it was when you first got in there? Is it the same? Do we overthink it? What's it like?
Oh, my goodness. Look, reporters have an objective to hold the president of the United States, the highest elected official in our country, accountable. Mm-hmm. The press secretary's responsibility is to answer our questions faithfully and truthfully, and to also represent her boss, the American people, and in particular the man that they've elected, the President of the United States, and to explain his positions and defend his decisions. And look, sometimes it's tense, sometimes it's boring, and sometimes it's sort of perfunctory, run-of-the-mill, and very often interesting, too, especially when we're on the cusp of a national crisis or emergency and there are urgent questions that need to be asked and answers that need to be given.
Sure. Is it weird going to work in the White House?
It's an honor to represent the country.
But you sometimes go, well, that's my office. It's the White House.
It is a very tiny little soundproof booth, I can promise you that. Not that pretty. We have 2 vending machines.
Are you guys still downstairs?
No service.
Are you guys still downstairs?
Oh yes, we're in the basement, and also just behind the what we call the racks, the television equipment in the back of the room. Really small and kind of sparse space, but we just got a makeover thanks to the hard work of my former colleagues on the board of the White House Correspondents Association.
Symbolism. Nice. Stephen Portnoy, thank you.
You bet.
See you. That's Stephen Portnoy at ABC News.
Do they give him a break?
What do you mean?
Stuck in the basement in a little cubicle, vending machine.
I don't know how long,
sugar cube. What's going on?
I don't know how long they've been in the basement, but if you're ever taking a White House tour,
we didn't go in the basement.
It's much smaller than you would expect, but there is room. It's a big house. And the idea that the press is in the basement behind TV gear. Yeah. Whoever put the White House press room there to begin with was going, I know where to put these bastards.
Oh, they want to be here? I'll put them somewhere.
Yeah. And they're the last ones out if there's ever trouble.
Yeah.
So
they got to report on it.
Yeah.